There's been such growing evidence lately of harmful diseases in farmed Atlantic salmon on our coast that today my friend Steve and I decided to go investigate the effluent pipe of a farmed salmon processing plant near our home. So the fish that are being slaughtered today were raised by Cermak Canada at their Raza Island site in the Discovery Islands, and then loaded onto a packer and transported to this processing plant in Browns Bay on Vancouver Island, which we were very curious about. As I approached the outfall pipe and my lights illuminated the bloody water, I think I just about choked on my regulator. It was unbelievable what I saw. The processing plant was releasing the blood of thousands of farmed Atlantic salmon right into British Columbia's largest wild salmon migration route. A third of all the salmon in British Columbia swim past this bay. Norway, where this industry came from, demands extensive disinfection of blood water because they've associated disease outbreaks with the release of infectious waste from these processing plants. Go figure. But in beautiful British Columbia, we're just dumping it in the channel, but it's out of sight, so no one knows. Scientists from Fisheries and Oceans Canada have recently confirmed that Pazifischen Ozean that was brought to BC from Norway causes the highly contagious disease HSMI. This disease damages the heart and skeletal muscle of salmon. 80% of Atlantic salmon on British Columbia's coast have Pazifischen Ozean. Are we crazy? We all know blood carries viruses. This is an infectious disease. And yet we're mixing it with these. Juvenile wild chum and pink salmon in the very same bay that we're dumping farm salmon effluent from the packing plant right over here, only a few hundred feet away. So you can see the pipe coming down right there. I took some blood and we sent it to a scientist who looked at it under a microscope. She found it certainly wasn't sterile. In fact, there seemed to be a lot of intestinal worms wiggling around in it. How was it? Oh, absolutely horrendous. It's sickening. Huge billowing clouds of blood pouring out into the bay. So this effluent pipe comes down and empties right into Browns Bay. And Browns Bay sits right on the edge of Discovery Passage, where a huge number of Fraser River sockeye will be out migrating. So it's horrendous to see this billowing red effluent being pumped out right into this wild salmon corridor. You know, it's unbelievable that we still allow this to happen. It's crazy. We were so disturbed by what we had found that we jumped in the truck and headed to beautiful Tofino, BC to see if this was going on elsewhere. So we're beside the Creative Salmon processing plant. Right now they're processing a packer load of fish that came in from the farms last night. We've been waiting for slack tide for a little while and we're going to do a dive here and see if we can see what's coming out of the blood pipe. Blood water pouring into downtown Tofino Harbor, and this time with huge schools of rockfish and perch feeding directly on the raw effluent and introducing it into the food chain of Clayoquot Sound. Who is authorizing this dumping of infectious waste into wild salmon habitat? This is insanely dangerous for our wild fish, and it has to stop. If we want wild salmon to survive on our coast, this dirty aquaculture industry needs to change.